Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to take this in a little different direction because I don't think there's anyone on this committee who hasn't reviewed the science and who doesn't believe everything that you're saying. This is not a new issue. During the 90s, I served on something called Trade and the Environment Policy Advisory Committee for the USTR, where European labeling of genetically engineered foods was starting to surface as an issue in terms of a trade barrier. And so we know that there has been a growing and brewing controversy around this kind of technology for good or bad. You take a look at the fight that we're fighting right now on vaccines, the fight that we're fighting on pasteurized milk. You can go down the road. All these technologies that have really helped create more food, help keep our food safe, are being challenged all the time. I have a question that goes to maybe not the regulatory scheme, but goes to why it is that we have this controversy given the unanimous consent of all of the regulatory agencies that these products are safe. What is it that we're not doing in terms of making the information that you provide more accessible to the average consumer so that they understand? We're up against a huge social media network where things get said that should be challenged, but yet we don't seem to find the way to challenge them. And so my question for all of you is, how can you make the information that you utilize to make these determinations more accessible to the American public in a way that they understand and that they have confidence in the work that you've done? And we'd start with the FDA.
So that's a challenging question. It's a communications issue, and we do work with a very talented communications team every time we have new information that we put out onto the market. I've only been at the agency for 9 months, but I can tell you, for example, we recently finished a consultation process on 2 new genetically engineered products. One was an Arctic apple, the other was a potato. We put the information out in the media, and to my surprise, we did not have much media attention. So I'm thinking that, the times are changing, and perhaps we're getting more embracing of the genetic engineering and the technology and how it can be used. But it is really a communications challenge, and we need to go to our most trusted communicators to communicate that to our public.
Dr. Main, if it were getting more acceptable, we wouldn't be in this room with a room full of people. Yeah. I think that's pretty clear. And so there's something about what we're not communicating in terms of the science that's not getting through. Mr. Jordan, can you offer any comments?
I'll try. It is a very challenging issue, and I think the general decline in confidence in all parts of government plays a role in this. For what it's worth, we at EPA believe that doing our work transparently, making available all of the information, all of our analysis that underlies our decisions, seeking outside experts who don't have government affiliations to weigh in on difficult issues is the way that we as government can demonstrate that we're doing a responsible, effective job of making decisions.
Except what people hear is blah, 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 blah.
I know that.
And I think that's a serious problem as it relates to what we're trying to do, because we're talking about how do we provide consumer information consumers want versus what consumers need. That really is what we're talking about here, and I believe the science is so strong in this area that these are products that will not have an adverse effect on any way on health. In fact, can improve health by making it more accessible worldwide, food products worldwide, but yet we seem to be losing, I think, the fight, not just on labeling, but losing the fight on how we're going to make these products more accessible. I think, Mr. Gregoire, maybe you can offer some comments as well.
Yes, thank you. It's certainly very, very challenging to explain to the public very complex scientific issues. Some of the things that we do, all of the analyses that we do, is made available to the public. Any regulatory decisions we make, we call attention to those decisions, either with a press release or email to our stakeholders to let them know the decisions that we've made and how we've made those. We do have an annual stakeholder meeting where members of the public can come.
I'm out of time. I just want to make one final point, if I can. The data that you're presenting and the information you're presenting is not presented in a way that's accessible to the public. It's easier to say this is bad than explain why this is good, especially when the technology is so elevated. And so I would really challenge all of you to think about how you discuss your findings with the public so that we can advance this beyond regulation and all the discussion, but actually have a conversation with consumers.